Good morning. How is everybody? Or evening, maybe, if you're in the U.S. Who knows? Oh, it's 8:30 p.m. in Colombia. According to Chosen One. Got a few minutes to spare. Well, thank you. I see Timmy Dog is here, like your friend John. Someone else made a big mistake. They said what begins with, I said no, what begins to... Timmy. So, I don't know. This was a short notice, so I'm not sure whether we'll see people drop in or not. I am having a little bit of trouble here with my green screen. So it's a little see-through from here to there. Who knows? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're doing well in the U.S., in the U.K., in Australia, wherever you're at, here in the Philippines even. Look, this is an open panel. And what that really means is that, you know what, you're welcome to state your opinions. You're welcome to bring up different topics. You're welcome to ask questions. You know, we have a lot of people with much more experience than we have that are members of our channel. They may be inside, they may be watching, they may be able to answer your questions better than we are, or better than we can. So don't feel, hesitant to even bring stuff up. It is open. And once we get going, if we get going, then we will in turn open up the panel if people want to go on camera. So let's see here. Michael Atos, you sexy bald guy. I don't know about that, Michael, but thank you. Thank you for joining. Paul Kogel. I hope I said that right. Paul, thanks so much. Where are you from, Paul? I don't recognize your name. Philly in the Philippines. Good morning, Brian. How's things going in paradise down there? I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Mike. Oh, and you know what? I think Brian's probably a little happier than normal. Hannah Grace has joined them down in the province. So I think some of their videos are going to be really fun and interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to see how Hannah Grace handles an entire summer vacation in the province. I'm not sure how long she'll be there. Slick Rick from San Francisco used to be one of my favorite areas. Things changed over the years. Hope you're doing well, Slick. Thanks so much for dropping by. So, as a general thing, we could talk about a lot of different things. I think it's important that we talk about the things that interest you guys, and we talk about the things that you have questions about that we're able to answer. Some of them we can't answer. That certainly happens. Topics that you would like to discuss. Sure, we're happy to bring it up. Now, watch this. This is going to be magic. Look, you see right through my cup. So that's the beauty of green screen. But apparently I have just too much green. My cup is green. I already had to change shirts for this because the previous one had some tinted green in it. But Slick Rick. Morning, Mike from Bristol, UK. Hello, Paul. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for dropping in. All right. What time is it in the Bristol, UK? Paul says right now he's in upstate New York, just came back from the Philippines 4 months. Wow. Did you have a good time? Did the Philippines treat you well? I guess that's an even better question. I hope it did, Paul. Ricky USA. Hey, everyone. The Power Hour, a ranger for collectors. I was talking to a ranger for collectors the other day at breakfast. He comes to breakfast once in a while. Really nice guy. Really nice. Chosen One says, Philly, the first person I met. when when he was in Angeles, he had the grocery. The old Sorry store down there on the way to Marquee Mall. I made it there once. That was it. But I would, it is what it is. That's a tough business, I think. I think every business, I think all small businesses are difficult. There are those that sort of look at this. It looks like I have a big dent in my head. I still have to work on my green screen presentation. Sorry, folks, you'll have to deal with it. But I think all small businesses, no matter where, in the US, in the UK, in Australia, in the Philippines, they're all a challenge. Bruce Cinder. How you doing, Bruce? We've met with Bruce. I've met Bruce and his wife before. Very, very nice people. Michael says he's counting the days down from moving to the Philippines. Sold my last rental house now. Time to focus on building a house in the Philippines. Well, we wish you the best of luck with that, Michael. That's for sure. Building a house here, the only thing I could probably say without having to go into a lot of boring details, be there for it. Be around as much as possible. Don't let them cut corners. There's all kinds of other advice for it. And, in our playlist, we have some stuff when we built our house down in Mindanao. So, maybe that'll help a little bit. John Parker from Philadelphia. I've been to the Philippines a couple times. Hopefully head back by Christmas. Well, that's when the weather will be much nicer. It'll be cooler, that's for sure. It's been hot. Michael, I sent you an email on a nice lot by Arlen's family. A great buy. Okay. I'll take a look at it. We'll see. We'll see, Michael. I'll take a look at it. I haven't checked my email this morning. Philly was listening to NWA when I met him. Well, that's a musical choice. I guess that's probably everybody's individual desires, I guess. Paul says, I like it over there, and I'm going back in a couple months to live, getting my paperwork for my veteran's visa. Well, I don't have an SRRV. I have a 13A. I have several friends with SRRVs, and they're very satisfied with them. Wow, Paul in Bristol, UK, 2:35 a.m. Wow. Thank you so much for being up in the middle of the night, I guess is the best word for it. Thank you. Chosen One says that was long ago. Philly wants to know, was that our first store? James Gilbert. Good morning, James. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing exceptionally well, actually. Let's see. I bought a coffee mug from Philly. It faded a long time ago. That's that cheap shit Brian uses. What can I say? Did it fade or did it just simply wash out? Chosen One. Philly says our first location in Daou. Chippy Whiska. Oh my God. Chippy, thank you so much for making the time to drop in. Thank you. Chippy's a longtime subscriber. Chippy goes back to the beginning days. Well, so does Philly, to be honest with you. Actually, a couple of different people that are here are longtime subscribers. Chippy lives up there on the Canadian-American border. Really good guy. I'm going to build a shit shack site unseen on my property. Well, is that what you really want to build, Michael? I don't know. But we'll be interested. Send us some photos of it when you get done. Chosen One, got your money's worth on that mug. As long as it doesn't leak, I guess he's got his money's worth, Brian. Chosen One, you know me, but I stay in the shadows. You know what? I think I may have met Chosen One but he wanted to stay incognito. But I think it's quite possible I've run into him once or twice when he was here. Who knows? All right. John Parker. Yes, I was there last May. That was the worst mistake of my life. It was so hot, but I was there for 3 weeks right in Angeles City. You're into the woods, but I had a great time. Yeah, it was hot in May. It was hot in June. It's only now getting tolerable, I guess, or daytime tolerable. It gets a little hotter in the cities than it does in the provinces, just a degree or two. You know, it's just that asphalt, concrete barrier, and everything else. Philly is built different. Yes, I know him. Yeah, indeed. Michael says, I want a house to move into, then build my retirement house when I move there to watch the build. Well, that's, you know what? If you can afford to do it that way, and if you're satisfied to do it that way, that might be one of the best ways to do it, Michael. So certainly can't fault you on that. Bruce says, I watched Brian move a few times, move the Sorry Sorry store a couple times. No mistake calling it Sorry Sorry. They are sorry they don't have what you want or asked for. Yeah. Before I met Brian, I watched his channel for years. I didn't meet Brian for years until after I started watching his channel. And I saw him, I started watching Brian when he was in the province with the monkey. All right, if you remember those days, and I'm sure some of you do. So, yeah, I've seen him move from place to place. Hector Gupta, hello from Brea, California. Weather forecast is low 90s here next week. Time to tune up the AC. Wow. Low 90s in California. That's going to be warm. What's the humidity going to be like in Brea, Hector? Moon River. You know, I have never met Moon River, but I will tell you this much. I've seen a lot of stuff that she's discussed in the past about her children, her life. I have so much respect for her as a Filipina. It is difficult. I hope you're doing well, Moon. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for dropping by. I hope the kids are doing fine. Gosh. Michael says, looking for 1 or 2 hectares. Wow. Chippy says, after this new Canadian government, I might be moving. I don't know, Chippy. I don't know what the Canadian government has in store. It's not something that I follow a lot of, to be honest. But I think a lot of people are currently dissatisfied with their governments. I guess that's the way to put it. So I guess, time is one of those issues. Bruce says, I bought a Philly coffee mug, made Adrian happy that day. There you go. Adrian got his little cut, and that was good. Chosen One. Everybody's seen him. I'm not a vlogger. I make no fuss. Nah, I like Chosen. He is, one of the things I like about Chosen One, he's really not very unapologetic about his opinions. And everybody, I think, is entitled to their opinions. So, great. John, my little world. Good morning, John. Thank you for dropping in. Michael Atos, my goal is 2 hectares of land, family compound, starter shit shack, then build. Well, how long do you think that's going to take you to build out, Michael? Just out of curiosity. Kenny in Subic. How you doing, Kenny? It's the PI. It's always hot, and the weather too. Yeah, it gets warm. That's for sure, Kenny. I don't know what it's like down in Subic today. I read that already. Upper 90s in Florida this week. Yeah, Florida gets warm. That's for sure, Bruce. Moon River, my son and my mom is all good. That is good to hear. I'm glad to hear that, Moon. I really and truly won. It's nice to hear that your son's doing well and that your mom's still good. Debbie, hi from Queens, New York. If I ever see you, I'll wink and say I'm the guy from Queens. Don't feel free. I was talking to a ranger for collectors a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that he said was, sometimes it gets difficult to integrate into some of the cliques of expats, that they seem to be a little closed knit circle. I can tell you right now, introduce yourself and try and just talk to them, and they'll be happy. Most of them will be happy to chit chat with you, and you never know. They may invite you to certain events or things like that. I told Ranger that, you know what? We used to have pool parties over at Grosvenor. Now, currently, 3 of the guys that participate in the pool parties that we throw are currently out of the country. One left today, one left, I think, 3 days ago, and one left 3 days ago, but 2 of them left together. So, we're kind of in limbo for the next month, but then again, it's okay. All right. It will happen. Just choose your friends carefully. Choose your acquaintances carefully. And everybody already knows that. Chicken Choker. Hello, everyone. How you doing, Chicken Choker? Thanks for dropping in. A build out, Michael says the build out can take years, but it's part of my wife's retirement money. She's 14 years younger than me. Hope you set her and her family up. Yeah, absolutely. It's like building a legacy. You're handing a legacy down to your partner. Something that many of us as expats do. Debbie says, you guys are talking heat. I'm at 66 degrees and chilly tonight in New York. Wow. 66. BT and Betty. Look, folks, take a look at BT's channel. All right. He's doing time-lapse videos of the build out of his home out at Mount Arayat. And they're really interesting. BT used to be a contractor. He knows about it. So it's an interesting follow. So take a look at BT. See if that gives you any kind of an interest. I hope you're doing okay, BT and Betty. Andrew Bartholomew, over 100. Wow, South Texas is 100 degrees now. Woo, that's kind of warm. That is kind of warm. Jeez. So what else can we talk about this morning? We can talk about the million. Hang on a second. Let me just plug this in real quick. I just want to see something real quick. I didn't come prepared for this. 634. Okay, so I may not have this totally correct. I may not, but I could look. Hang on just a second. I have it right here. The big drug bust in Angeles. And how much it was. Bum, 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 bum. 680 million pesos. So just the other day, 680 million.
Book low-cost flights now.
Uh-oh. Didn't mean for that to happen. Now I have to wait a minute. But 680 million pesos. Do you have any idea how many US dollars that is? All right. That is, and as soon as this stupid advertisement closes on my app in another 31 seconds, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I'll tell you, but I think that's going to be somewhere around 12 million US dollars, 680 million pesos in, unless somebody has a calculator right in front of them and just divides that by 55. But I mean, that's a lot of drugs. 680 million pesos in crystal meth, or shabu is what they call it here. Oh, there you go. Bipolar got me. Bipolar, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks for doing the math for me. I'm still stuck in the calculator here. There we go. Yes. So 12.2 million US dollars. That is a crap load of crystal meth. So Philly, to answer your question, where is it coming from? Well, they arrested two guys, or they nabbed two guys, as the Philippines likes to say. All right. One was a local, and this was in Barangay Santo Domingo, if I'm not mistaken. One was a Filipino. The other one was Chinese. So who knows? You can take it for what it's worth as to where it's coming from. And who is the users of it? Well, Brian, you know as well as I do that drug usage here is not uncommon at all. Drug usage in any major metropolitan area of most every country, well, not Singapore, that's for sure, but in many, many countries, it is not uncommon. Michael Atos says, I'm just a lower middle class worker with some savings. My cost of living in the USA, fixed cost is $1,200 without food, planning on the same in the Philippines. Well, Michael, I wish you the best with it. Certainly you can do it. You can live your life here as simple as you want. All right. And you can live it as expensive as you want. In fact, I dare say you can live it more expensively than you can afford it. If you want to live in Forbes Park or in Bel Air or in half a dozen different places, you're going to need to be a multimillionaire. And I don't mean like a couple million. So who knows? The invisible man. Anyone on this chat know the actual number of weeks that it takes to get the deposit back from the U.S. State Department for a DDFM 214? DDFM 214. I'm not sure what the DDFM 214 is, invisible man. Can you tell me what that is? Explains the bus drivers. Yeah, it does. The drug bus does. Is Jay still in the police station for? Has he been released? I think, to the best of my knowledge, he's still there. But his buddy Kiki would know more. And I haven't seen him do anything. I would have thought that if Jay was out, he would have made a video about it. I certainly haven't seen him, haven't heard from him, nobody that I know of has. So BT wants to know, who is Jay? All right, so Jay had a YouTube channel called Spaceman Jungle Cowboy. And I think he was from the Boston area. And don't quote me on this. I'm relatively correct remembering it, but I could be slightly off. But he got caught with, I think, close to 2 kilos of leaf. I guess the best word to use for it. And also, there were allegations of using underage or child pushers to sell it, since he wouldn't get in trouble for it. That's all. Those are the rumors I know. I don't know if they're true. All I know is he was in jail. Last I saw was his buddy Kiki did a video, and he had certainly lost weight. Military discharge needed for the SRRV. Okay. That's what it is. That's what, yeah, DD 214. I didn't even, been so long since I don't know. It's pretty easy to hide shabu's use in the beginning. Eventually the tolerance builds. I don't know. I can tell you crystal meth is a nasty, nasty drug. Andrew says DD 214 is your discharge papers number from the Philippines. Yeah. Jungle Man, Space Cowboy. Yeah, Phil, you got it. Oh, that guy. Invisible, you can get a free copy of your DD 214 from the archives. Takes maybe 2 to 3 weeks. My goal is to invest in property through my wife, my retirement, as well over my monthly living expenses. We already have property that 7-Eleven is looking. Oh, nice. 7-Eleven. I have a very fond place in my heart for 7-Eleven. Okay. So they leased property. They leased a corner of a piece of property I owned in Phoenix, and they pay every day the right amount every month. Never had a problem with them. Great tenants. BT and Betty, trafficking. It's possible, BT. Again, I don't know. I would never risk any drugs. I highly suggest that you don't. I highly suggest that if you have a substance abuse problem that is illegal here, and I say that because as far as I'm concerned, tobacco is substance abuse, alcohol is substance abuse, all right? But if you have a substance abuse problem with a non-legal substance here, quit it before you get here. And you should quit it anyways. Oh, Selvin Marcos, readings. Jay has a new channel he's been posting every day. It's called Jungle Man Adventures. Well, there you go. So I will have to take a look at that. Thank you so much, Slevin Marcos. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. BT says I have a lot coming up for sale soon. 200 square meters in a new subdivision. There you go, BT. Sneaky Yellow Devil. Good morning, 6:55 p.m. here on the West Coast. How you doing, Sneaky Devil? Sneaky Yellow Devil. Thanks so much. I like the cat face. That's kind of cute. That really is. I like your profile pitch. You know, thank you so much. Where are you from, Sneaky Yellow? I don't recognize you. Bar fine is substance abuse. I guess you could. I guess it's all a matter of interpreting the words. You know, it's how you do it. Is Michael wants to know, shabu, coke, or meth? My Filipino wife says coke. I say it's meth. To the best of my knowledge, it's meth. Methamphetamine. It may even be a mixture, but you know what? I don't do drugs. I don't buy drugs, and I don't associate in any way, shape, or form, to the best of my knowledge, with anybody that does. So I don't have an answer. You know, that's one of the things we try. We try to not speak out of turn. We either know something to be a certain way, we've researched it and we know it is a certain way, or we'll tell you we just don't know. Abuse problem chicken. Now I'm more of a consumer of goods. All right. Well, we'll leave it like that. Tim Dizak. Desiak. I think that's the right way I said it. Good morning. How you doing, Tim? Thanks for dropping in. Bar fines help support the single moms. Indeed, they do. You know, bar fines help all kinds of stuff. The invisible, the DDFM 214 is worthless until the U.S. State Department issues an apostille certifying that the DDFM is 214 is real. I've never heard anyone state how long the U.S. State Department takes to process. You know what? I do know about apostilles, and I don't know how long it takes to get it done in the U.S. John says shabu is meth. There we go. Philly says many more single moms in the Philippines not supporting their kids by bar fines. That's true. That is. There is no doubt about it. All right. But there are many that do. And that is a reality of life. Shabu is meth. Please indulge for 5 to 7 years. We cannot reevaluate. We're going to reevaluate later. Let's not encourage that, Chicken Choker. Flogging life from Black Canyon City, one of my favorite areas. How you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Arlene and I used to go up there quite often. Howdy, Tim D. Tim says, sorry, I'm late today, and thanks to saying my name properly at the end of I apologize. I'm terrible with names. I am terrible. Thomas Vaughn, I remember your bar fine a few months ago, Mike. Oh, my chickens. Yeah, that was actually a freebie. That was, but yeah, I did, that was clickbait. I did bar fine a couple chickens. And that was Noli, the manager of, for those of you that don't know, you could look in our playlist. The manager of Lucifer, who we've known for years, Noli asked Arlen one night, hey, do you like chicken? And Arlen said, sure. And he says, well, you know what? We have chickens. I'm going to give you a couple chickens. And so I said, great. Well, the next time we went the next day to get our chickens. All right. We didn't go bar hopping. We just dropped by to get our chickens. It gives me a box with holes in it, and it's got 2 live chickens in it. Now, I'm going to tell you something. For a chicken, when you chop his head off, they bleed all over the place. I don't know where all that blood comes from. It is crazy. First thing was Arlen opened the box in the condo. We had to chase this chicken around the condo, one of them, to grab it and stuff it back in the box. And then I had to butcher both of those chickens on the balcony. And it was a mess. So, but we did cook them and we ate them. Shabu is like dollar store meth. I don't know. I didn't realize there were different grades of it, but 12 million US dollars in one bust of Shabu. Does that not tell you how bad the drug problem is? And I'm sure it wasn't all meant for Angeles. I'm sure it was being distributed in other places. CBGB, thank you for dropping in. I met the 12 apostles in Manila. There you go. I've never met the 12 apostles. You'll have to tell me where they hang out, CB. That email I sent you was over a week ago. It was farmland on National Highway close to the town. You know what? Maybe that ended up in spam or something, Michael. I will go look for it after this live stream. Dickie Spaz, DD214 is only needed if you want the huge discount. Yeah, but Dickie, first off, thanks for dropping in. I really appreciate it. But who wouldn't want that discount? I think the courtesy SRRV, I don't know. You know what? I can't remember the different names of because I think there's like 5 or 7 different kinds of SRRVs now. But, to get it down to $1,500 plus $1,500 application fee, well worth it. Andrew says, should have had Chicken Choker help you. Yeah, I bet Chicken Choker come in and just strangle that poor chicken. All right. I mean, it was a mess. I'm just going to tell you right now. It was, and what's funny is we didn't get home until late and it was dark. So Arlene put the 2 chickens that are in the box on the balcony. And then she put something on top of the box. And I said, yeah, it's not going to hold the box. And she said, yeah, it'll be fine. The next morning I woke up, I had one of those chickens was perched on the rails of our balcony. And I was like, man, I hope I can grab this thing before he jumps. Because although I think it's a long ways for a chicken, it would have been very embarrassing for it to end up flopping to the ground in front of the guards at our front doors. But I did. He didn't jump. I was watching a documentary, Hillbilly Pyro. First off, hey, Hillbilly, thanks for joining us. I was watching a document about the Manila Trench fault line. Scary stuff. It's due for a major slip. Yeah. I think we're far enough inland, we wouldn't have to worry about a tsunami. I think we're far enough above sea level here. But Manila itself and a lot of that low-lying, bigger major cities, they would be in trouble. Dickie Spaz, that's messed up. Breaking Bad Philippines. Indeed, Michael. Tim Desiak says, when I applied for my SRV, I went to the embassy outreach in Balibago, and they processed it in 15 minutes. Wow. When was that, Tim? Chippy says, you'd be surprised who is into Shabu. It's a big problem. I guess I would. I'm surprised anybody is into that kind of stuff. I just don't know a better way to say it. Chicken Choker says, since the depletion of anhydrous dope, the meth is crap, the P2P dope is still available for those in the know. All right. That is, let's kind of steer away from that for a while, Chicken Choker. Expanded courtesy SRV military 1,400 in the fees. There you go. I was off by $100. I admit it. Okay. Like I said, I don't know much about them because they don't have one. In the 90s, any dope had that kick. That's what Chicken Choker says. Same name on the email as my YouTube. Okay, Michael, I will check. I will take a look. I've gotten emails from you before and never went to spam, but I'll take a look as soon as we get done. Philly, you get more time for Mary Jane in the Philippines than you do for meth. I don't know. That would be interesting. I might try and look that up. Brian, what's the House bill on weed? Is it still up to the medical professionals? Weed is not, to the best of my knowledge, I guess I could be wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, they don't even have medicinal weed here or even cannabis, THC. I don't think any of that's legal here in the Philippines. That's crazy. Don't know. That was October 20, maybe September 2019. Wow. So Tim says he was able to go directly to the outreach program and get it done. But that was in 2019. Who knows now? So, talking about, wow, 51 people in the room for our little channel. That's so nice. Yummy mango. You got to try shabu shabu, Mike. I'll try the Isn't there shabu shabu like a food? Isn't it called a food? Shabu shabu. Not just shabu the drug. I think that's a type of food, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. I'm willing to try about 50% about what's out there. I seen on the news they started medical leave here, but I never heard about any more about it. I don't know that it's legal here. I can look it up maybe. At one time, they were arresting people for smoking cigarettes. I was fined. Yeah. Smoking in public in many cities is against the law. All right. In fact, I think smoking in public in Angeles is against the law. But I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody enforcing it. Philly says, I like shabu shabu, Korean restaurant. There you go. That's what I thought. Shabu shabu is Korean restaurant food. That's what I thought. Andrew, I thought shabu was a killer whale. That'd be Shamu, Andrew. That'd be Shamu. Wonder whatever happened to him. Free Willy. Free Willy. Unregistered, my John, unregistered in the Philippines, including those containing cannabis. Yeah. The Invisible American Man. Mike, I know that you live in a condo, 2-bedroom, but have you ever heard of anyone mentioning what the typical electric bill for a house in Angeles might be with 3 or 4 mini splits? Brian might be able to chime in on that. I think a lot of it is really kind of variable and depending, like we have split airs in our house down in Mindanao, but they never get used unless we're there. So, we would be a bad influence. As far as in a condo, I've seen people in condos who have to have it set at the lowest possible setting in every room. So we have 3 split airs in our place, our 2 bedrooms, right? 1 in each bedroom, 1 in the main room. But very rarely are 2 of them on. And for the most part, we have 1 unit on, I would say 20 hours out of the day. And it's set at 24 during the day. And forgive me, people, but this is the way it is. It's set at 21 at night. I like blankets, a heavy cover on the bed, and I like for it to be cold. That's just the way it is. Our average bill runs between 8 and 10,000 pesos. I know people that have had in 1 bedrooms, electric in the 3,000 range, and people in 1 bedrooms that have had electric in the 15 and 16,000 peso range. So it depends on how much you're going to use it, I guess. Nelson 007, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. What's my opinion of Angeles City? It's a city. It's not the province. It has, it suits us. And that's the important part. I have a hospital, a major hospital nearby. I have rapid rail in the middle of being installed. We have malls. We have restaurants. We have live music. We have all of the good and bad parts of living in a city. We have traffic. We have pollution. We have noise. I actually like, for the most part, a lot of the noise. I like the street sounds. But for many people, they won't. It just depends. There are very upscale neighborhoods here. You know, you've got Clark and New Clark City right down the road. You know, we like Angeles City. I really do. I much prefer it over the province, personally. Hector, shout out to John the Brit. I know you're here lurking. John is John. All right. You know, he knows. You know what? I'm not even going to go into it unless he wants to pop in and defend himself or advertise himself, whichever one he wants. Angeles City Electric skyrockets during the summer months. It'll be double in price. It could. You know, it's going to depend on which carrier. We've never experienced that here, but we have seen an increase. Pelco 2 is not cheap. Just waiting for my electric bill Tuesday. Yeah. Yep. Our electric meter they read ours on the 21st, so we'll get our bill around the last of the month. Michael says, my brother-in-law's sorry store, the PMP would hide behind his store and smoke every day and buy loose cigarettes. They loved me when I gave them cigars. I bet they did, Michael. I bet they did. Yeah, that's crazy. Summer price is messed up. Well, you know, summer's going to be more expensive. It's hotter. It cycles longer. And houses are more expensive by just the nature of how they're built. For instance, I don't have any sun that hits the left side of my condo, no sun that hits the right side of my condo, and no sun that hits the front of my condo. I only have one wall that is exposed to the outside. That's it. So with that being said, I don't deal with, you know, whereas if you have a house, all right, you've got a roof. I don't have a roof that's exposed to the heat and the sunlight. And that's a major factor. If you have a house, you've got all four sides exposed to the exterior and the roof. So, you know, it's going to be more expensive. But then again, you know, I could have a $200 electric bill in Phoenix in the wintertime. I think the cheapest electric bill I ever had in Phoenix in the wintertime was $189. And I'm pretty sure we were gone for at least a week, maybe even two of that month. Okay. But I've had in the summertime when it's 110 plus every single day, I have once had an electric bill between myself, ex-wife number 2, and my daughter. The electric bill was $1,400. It's hot. They do the same in Cebu. The rate will go up in the summer. That's what Hillbilly says. Chicken Choker, off to get some cutting oil. Be safe. Take care, Chicken Choker. Thanks for dropping in. Nelson, oh, I didn't know that's where you presently live. Yeah, we live in Angeles City. Now, we have a home in Mindanao also. We have a condo in Angeles City. We have a home in Mindanao. But we don't live there full time. Jason, I'm curious, what is the most you can withdraw from the ATM bank at any one time? Well, it kind of varies. There are some ATM machines that I know of that they'll only know, and keep in mind, you know what? I should preface this. We very rarely use the ATMs. Very rarely. Okay? I hate using them. Now, that being said, we do use them on occasion just to keep sure our ATM card is working, because if you don't use your Philippine bank let me rephrase that. If you don't use your BDO ATM card for a certain period of time, they deactivate it. So, that happens. BDO, typically, I think we could get 20,000 pesos, but we very rarely use it. We never use it to withdraw a bunch. We really and truly don't. There are people who say they know that where there are specific ATM machines that'll spit out up to 40,000. I've been told to keep my mouth quiet because they don't want to advertise it because they don't want people draining it. So I'm not at liberty to say where. Also, like I said, we use our ATM cards sparingly, very sparingly. When it comes to going to the bank and taking money out, you can take out as much as you want. I mean, we were there taking out, we go to the bank, we take our allowance out. I've been at the bank and watched people take out 10 million pesos. So it's there. All right. It was a pretty big backpack. I like that it's relatively close to Manila. Yeah, it's nice to Manila. We lived in Makati, Manila, prior to moving to Angeles. We don't really frequently go there. We're there maybe 6-8 times a year. That's it. People don't realize, you see our videos right here, just like this, talking head videos. You don't see us out and about. And there's a reason for that. We don't show you everything we do. Our lives are somewhat private. All right. Arlen doesn't really care for our life to be broadcast all over YouTube, and neither do I. We show you our trips. We've been and we've had trips to Palawan, to El Nido, Coron, Puerto Princesa, Bohol, Panglao, Thailand, Subic, Angeles, Makati, Manila, Quezon City. I mean, we've been out quite a bit, contrary to what somebody else says. Okay. We've been out, about, and around, and many of those places we've been to more than once. So, it is what it is. Tim Deziak, my electric bill is normally $1,800, aircon only in the bedroom, usually set at $24. There you go. My bill, 2-bedroom, 2 floors, around $9K to $15K. There. That pretty much fits right about in where I said it would. All right. I might say something right now. The 55 people in the room, please, if you're in the room, consider subscribing to our channel. We're so close to that 6,000 mark. We would really appreciate it. Seems like it has been the most difficult growth period for us, the 5,000 to 6,000 subscriber mark. Hector, how much more expensive are the inverter type ACs versus? They're a little bit more. They're not that much more expensive, to be honest with you. They really aren't. Our unit has standard split airs. When they go bad, I will replace them with inverter split airs. Our home in Mindanao, inverter split air. And man, it pumps out cold. It really does. Do you want to know what my electric bill is in the summer here in Glendale, where it's 110 for 3 months straight? Exactly, Pat. Pat is exactly right. I can tell you what it was up in Scottsdale, and I can tell you what it was up in Anthem. That's for sure. BT says if Pelco gives away umbrellas 1 month, the bill will go up the next. Yeah. Yeah, the electric companies here always get their money. That's for sure. That is. Whereabouts in Glendale are you, Pat? Inverter can save up to 30%, but most fail in the 10 to 15% fall in the 10. Yeah, we don't have a lot of faith in a 30% savings. All right. And even the people that advertise 50% for sure don't have any faith in them. But would you see a 10 to 15% range? Sure. And if you regularly maintain those split airs, clean the filters, get them clean. And here's something here in Angeles, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Brian can testify to this because he went through this as well. The compressors that sit outside on split airs, I don't know whether it's because of where I live, the condo, or it's all of Angeles, but it seems like the amount of dust in the air is high, and I mean the micro dust. All right. If I wait 3 months to spray down and wash down those outside compressors, the water that drains out of those things is pitch black. Pitch black. So you gotta maintain these things. Okay. Our units are going on 5 years old, and they work like a charm. But we get them we get maintenance on them twice a year, and sometimes we spray them down even more often ourselves. Chippy says a split unit's cheaper. Window units, yes, without a doubt. The split airs are much more energy efficient than window units. Pelco did lower its rate down to less than 10 pesos per kilowatt. Okay, I don't know. Wow, Philo in the Philippines made it into one of our live streams. Good morning, Philo. Where are you at this morning? You down in Subic, or you up here in Angeles, or somewhere in between? Thank you. Everything in my house is inverter, fridge, AC, washer. Yeah, we have inverter stuff as well. Pat D, 600 to 800 for me in Goodyear. Wow. Okay. 20,000 BPI, 10,000 others on foreign cards. That's what Chippy Whiskers used to sing. So Pat D says, I'm in a single story, 2,000 square foot house that was built in 89. I bought it in 2001 when I moved to Glendale because of my daughter and grandkids. Luckily, it had newer ACs. Okay. Good deal, Pat. Philly says you take your own life in your hands in Angeles City when you go to the ATM. And I would agree with him. I would agree. Why go to an ATM? Why use, first off, I would never use an outside ATM for safety's sake. I would always use an ATM that's either in the mall or in a bank. But more to the point is that we just go to the bank once a month, draw out our monthly cash allowance, and bring it home. My ATM is this desk drawer. It's that simple. So we don't keep that much at home. That should have said 2021. Ah, okay. Sage. Thank you for joining, Sage. I haven't seen you before. Please let us know. Where are you from, Sage? Is that really true, Philly, about the ATM? I think it's true. I don't disagree with Philly one bit about that. I mean, we just had those Koreans that got, the Korean guy that got unalived outside of an ATM massage parlor. I mean, there's all kinds of different things, but we'll see. Michael, when is your road trip on the Philippines? Well, you know what? With the elections, we had to put it all off. We didn't want to be out there, and I'm grateful we did. Now it's all about getting everything prepped for my daughter. My daughter flies in less than 30 days, less than a month from now. She flies in, and we're taking her. I'm not going to tell you where we're going yet. All right. We are taking her out of the country. So we're taking her out of the country for 10 days and then back. And so it's going to have to be somewhere later. Then we've got Fiesta coming up. So I can't really tell you, Michael. Honest, I can't. Hillbilly, have a good day, night. I'll go for a ride. Take care, Hillbilly. Have a great time. Thanks for joining us. Dickie, 2-story, 2,900 square feet with 2 AC units. It's terrible. I don't run the AC from 4 to 7. Hot part of the day with the highest rates. Yeah, Dickie. And that's I guess in Goodyear, you're still on APS. Is the electric provider down there, maybe, if I remember correctly? Roy Jones, admit it, you're the P. Diddy of the Philippines. Face green, smiling. I would not think so. I would not, Roy, but thanks for dropping in. Sage, Korean murdered in broad daylight on Easter Sunday, withdrawing money at the ATM machine in Angeles City. Case is still ongoing. Yeah. Pat in Glendale, just west of the I-17 between Happy Valley and Pinnacle Peak. I looked at houses in Anthem before I chose this one by my grandkids. Yeah, I remember when the area you're talking about didn't even have developments. I mean, you got to remember, I bought up in Anthem close to 30 years ago now. My first home up there. So, yeah. But that is got some, I mean, you're talking about between Happy Valley and Pinnacle Peak, west of the 17. So you're talking about like Vistancia, I think, or V, started with a V. You're like kind of like on the way to the lake. That's a great area, I think. My AC units need cleaning every 3 months due to pollution, and they are filthy. Yeah. We spray down. All right, so our bedroom unit runs a lot. Okay? And with that being said, we spray our compressor down ourselves and clean the filters every month. Or even, every month. But we also get it serviced every 4 months. All right, we have them come in, check the pressure. We've never had to add any kind of refrigerant yet. All right. And I think part of that is simply because we keep it clean so it doesn't have to struggle. Because electricity is expensive here. Hillbilly says, I learned how to take them apart and clean them. Yeah, I did not. Wish I did. Tim Desiak says, before I got my inverter aircon, my bill was $3K, dropped down to $1A. Wow, that's almost 50%. Jeez. Philo says it's a secret. He's not telling us where he's at today. We hope you're having a good day, a good time, Philo. Jonah Dona should be getting back here pretty soon. Hope her and little Anthony are doing well. Heating bills up here in Canada. Yeah, Nelson, how do you heat in Canada? Are you using fuel oil, electric, gas, wood stove? I just interested in how you deal with it. Pat D, I installed 2 inverter mini splits in my house in Southern California myself. I got an estimate of $15,000 to install them, so I bought the tools and did it myself. Wow. I wish I was that handy. I am not an extensive handyman. All right. I can do simple stuff. I can clean the pool. I can nail a board. I can change hinges and doorknobs and, grease the rails for the garage doors and change filters on the air. I mean, I can do the really simple stuff. But you have to give credit to skilled tradesmen. All right. People who know how to do plumbing, how to do electric. Oh my God. I don't touch anything electrical. I'm just going to be honest. I nearly got, I was putting in a ceiling fan in my first home. Thought I knew what I was doing. I was very wrong. And I haven't touched electrical since then, other than an extension cord. And there are those people that would say my extension cords are overdone too. But you got to give credit, masons, carpenters, sheetrock guys, all of these skilled trades. I wish I knew how to do some of those things. I really and truly do. But I don't. So I have a lot of respect for them. Tim Dziak, I never go to the ATM alone. Exactly. Chippy says you go to the ATM during the day inside the bank. Wallet left at home for a night out. Take a picture of your passport. Yeah, absolutely. I don't carry my passport ever. All right. And you know what else is funny? I don't carry my ACR card or my driver's license. All right. I carry a photo of them on my phone. That's it. All right. Now I have the little wallet ID passport. It's an option for when you get your passport. You can get the wallet. It's not a legal passport, but the wallet ID. I'll carry that once in a while. If we're going to be out doing a bunch of stuff, I'll carry my ACR card. But just generally, no, I don't. Last trip back to the Philippines, we bought a split unit AC. It was installed the same day. I was impressed. Nice. We Todd did. I'm not sure. I think that was lost on me, Philly. I don't know that one. Sage, yes. First time on the live streams, but I've been watching your videos for about 2 weeks now. Planning on visiting the Philippines. Well, great, Sage. If we can give you any advice for what it's worth, if we can let you know anything, we're happy to do so. Philly was at the Korean. Yeah, we'll never hear that. Yep, I agree, Chippy. Sage, these are just the horror stories of the Philippines. Philippines is safe to travel. And Brian, Philly in the Philippines is right. What you hear on YouTube are the horror stories. And yeah, things happen, but they happen everywhere. Okay? Men get dumped by women everywhere. Men get cheated on by women everywhere. There are gold digging women everywhere. There are thieves everywhere. There are robberies everywhere. But there are good women. There are honest women. There are good people, honest people. Most bloggers concentrate on the negative to create the drama, or they want to pick on other people for the views and the drama that goes along with it. So, whoops, didn't mean to do that. It is, we know, Arlen and I, we're 10 years plus 11 years now, going on 12, plus in the Philippines and never had a problem. Peter Layton, good day, Meg, Aussie here. Have lived in this paradise for 7 years. I don't use air conditioning, just fans. I will tell you, Peter, I could get along with a fan if I had to for 80% of the year. But that's because I also have become more acclimated. Now, if I lost another 40, 50 pounds, shit, I probably wouldn't even need a fan. Sage says he's from New York. Wow. Andrew says, most of my life in the skilled trade. Seems like I was rode hard, put away wet. Everybody, you know what, Andrew, you're right. It is, I mean, you can't argue with the fact that the skilled trades can be very hard on a person's body. We know that. All right. I saw it all my life in my clinical practice. Okay. But that talent that it takes to build a house, the talent that it takes to know how to do those things, the experience that it takes, the patience and willingness to learn that experience, that's a big deal. Michael says, I will never give myself a lobotomy or a rectal exam, but I can overhaul a car. There you go, Michael. I wouldn't recommend doing either one individually. And also, from a practical point of view, I wouldn't recommend having a lobotomy and a rectal exam at the same time, Michael. Props to you, Michael. Yeah, I'm not a mechanic. I could change my own oil, air in my tires, change a tire. Could I rebuild a carburetor? Do I know about electric ignition? Could I, I don't even know all the things you could do to an engine, but whatever it is, I can't do them. I can't, and it's just not my wheelhouse. For me, it'd be gas in Alberta, his house, electricity in Manitoba, conduct. Alberta prices are not controlled by the province, so providers are gouging us. Wow. Yeah, that's terrible, Nelson. People in the bar areas are not your friends once you stop spending money. And Chippy's correct. It doesn't matter how loving that girl is. Okay. You want to find out how really interested she is? Quit giving her money. Quit buying love. You can't buy it. Okay. All right. Don't lead with your wallet. Philly says 100%. He agrees. Pat, I'm a retired jet mechanic, 23 years in the Air Force. You learn a lot of things. Yeah, indeed. Wow. Wow. Pat, I used to know, I knew a couple of jet engine mechanics down in Yuma. They worked on the jet engines, the Marine Corps, at the Marine Corps Naval Air Station in Yuma, Arizona. They worked on those jets. So, but indeed. And again, I'm going to put that plug out there. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. We would certainly appreciate it. That is for sure. So what else can we talk about? How else can we waste your evening and morning, your daytime, all the different things? George K. How you doing, George? Thank you for joining us. When in Angeles, when out at night, I carry a copy of my passport and driver's license, no man purse, no phone, and an old empty wallet to keep money in the front pocket. There you go. And that works. It really does. Most things, at least in a car, are parts replacement, plug and play. Use scanners to tell you what's wrong. Skill is getting back to the older cars and troubleshooting, but they can all be a challenge. Whoops, I forgot to put that up, Andrew. I apologize. Oh, Andrew says, don't forget to hit the like. Papa in the Philippines. Thank you. Thank you, Papa, for joining us. You are never too old to learn something new. You just have to set your mind. And I agree with you, Papa. But at this point in my life, I don't think I want to learn how to mix and lay concrete. I certainly don't want to learn how to hang sheetrock and mud it and sand it and everything that goes along with it. I I think I'm past that point. You know, for those of you that are out there, I'm well over 65. My days of doing that kind of stuff were when I was young, and I wish I had done it and learned it so that I could understand it better. That's all. Mazzo, thank you. You're correct about the ceiling fans, but since some can hold a charge even with no power source, vicious. Yeah, all I can tell you is it knocked me off a ladder. And at that point, I no longer touch electricity or anything like that. Hoppa, AJ, how are you and the supervisor doing? How is AJ, man? His dog, the supervisor, cutest thing ever. Cutest thing ever. All right. Hoppa, how's things going up north for you? Tim Desiak, my time is never wasted in this stream. Well, thanks, Tim. We try not to. I mean, we try to be reasonable. We try to be upfront. We try to give you as much knowledge as we can about things that we know. And we don't bash Filipino women. There's no need for that. There really and truly isn't. I don't believe that Filipino women are really much different than women in many, many other countries. I really don't. I mean, we could make that a whole discussion one day if you wanted to. But I think most of my subscribers or our subscribers, they're smart enough to know that already. You've got people out there that are telling you all these negative things and everything else that you have to watch out for. You should, but you should have never not watched out for them, because you need to watch out for those things in America, in the UK, in Australia, in the EU. These things are not uncommon to the Philippines. Really and truly, they're not. You talk about bar girls and prostitution. Well, let's see, there's 4 counties in the United States where prostitution's legal. It's legal in the entire country of England, okay? Or I'm not sure how that's segregated. England, Great Britain, UK, I don't know. But you get what I'm talking about. It's legal in many large cities of Australia. It's legal in many large cities in Europe. But yet here, it's not legal. It is not legal. But people get a bad rap for it. They really and truly do. And I don't see people bitching about it in other places, which I think is really a double standard, in my opinion. 30 plus years Michael Atos, 30 plus years in concrete truck driver load builder for a local government. I shake my head how they do things in the Philippines. I'm broken down at age 55 on disability and SS retired. Wow. Self-security boils down to the area you live. And it does. It does. Philly lives in an area that I would think is much safer than Angeles City. But I think Angeles City is much safer than parts of Manila. And I think Angeles City is much safer than Paris or London. Certainly much safer than Chicago or New York or San Francisco, for that matter. I don't know if Rick is still around. What's the crime like in San Francisco nowadays? Chibiwiska. I've been coming to the Phil since 98. Very safe. Exactly. Wow. A boiler tech, Navy boiler tech, rebuilt pumps, turbines, valves, worked power plants, air separation units, turning liquid air, CO2 into, and argon at 300 could burn just as bad. Oh, you bet it could. You bet it could. I will tell you, I had to do an emergency quench on an MRI unit once. And I'm not going to go into the details. It was a patient safety issue. And I had to quench that magnet. And that blows out liquid nitrogen and helium because that magnet is kept at a very, very, very cold temperature so that it is a bigger conductor, stronger field, because it's actually its conductivity as a magnet is increased by electricity. Okay. And man, I will tell you, that kind of stuff, those liquid gases, all right, that stuff will burn you. Mike from Hapa, Mike, she's doing good for 9 years old dog, especially with her eyesight slow. Oh, what a sweet dog. What a sweet dog. My God, Hapa. She still chase chickens? Does she still chase the chickens around? AJ, we're prepping to plant maize, corn, in the beginning of June, so life is good and awesome. You know what? They tell me that corn grows well here in the Philippines. And we get corn at the market. Some of it's really good. Sometimes it doesn't look so great, but most of the time it looks pretty good. And Arlene cooks it up and it's great. All right. But I didn't think that corn was a big product here, but I could be wrong. Prostitution is illegal in the Philippines along with solicitation. Yes, it is. It is illegal. What I was trying to point out, Philly, was those people that condemn it here, yet come from countries where it's completely legal and acceptable. Whoop, wrong button. YPG 1980-82 testing the AAH-64. I think Yuma Proving Grounds 1980-82 testing the AAH. Is that a helicopter, Papa? AAH-64? Or is that a Harrier? Some of the pilots I knew were Harrier pilots, and then some of them were, I think, F-15 pilots. I can't remember. Plus, my daughter should be starting college shortly. It all depends on the testing results and what college she wants to attend. Great. Congratulations, Hapa. I wish her the best of luck. I really and truly do. It was a very difficult, stressful time for me when my daughter started undergraduate school. I mean, it wasn't difficult, but it was the applications, the waiting for acceptance, I got accepted here, Dad, but I don't really want to go here. Or I'm waiting to hear from so-and-so. It's difficult. And daughters are even more difficult, I think. Peter says, I live in Surigao City. Very safe there. Very low crime rate, but terrible drivers. Yeah, Surigao City is tough. It really is. We're about an hour. Our house is about an hour, Peter, from Surigao City. We're, excuse me, we're down the road, down the main highway in Kitcheneroo. So halfway on the way to Butuan. If you want concrete mix, Michael says, if you want concrete mix for a cubic yard, 1,750 pounds of sand, 1,750 pounds of stone, 600 pounds of cement powder. Convert to metric if you need to. Well, I think that's going to be pretty far outside of my needs, but I appreciate it, Michael. I will keep that in mind. Philly has cobras, monitor lizards, and hitmen that kill livestock by them. I'll take my chances. Okay. So we have cobras in Kitchener. Well, I've never seen one. Never seen one. Never met anybody that actually has seen one since we built. Now, Arlene, she's killed a few cobras when she was a young girl. Okay. Monitor lizards, never seen one down there. And as far as hitmen for my livestock, rest in peace, Twinkles. The snake gotcha, and that shit happens. Apache helicopters. Yeah, I thought the H-64 meant a helicopter. We had some on my last boat. Yeah. So you have not heard Yuma in a long time. Advanced helicopter attack helicopter. Yeah. So I had clinics, and one of my clinics was in Yuma. So, in fact, it was actually one of my busiest clinics. And so we had a contract with YPG. We had a contract with the Marine Air Station, because some of you don't realize it. YPG is actually different than the Marine Air Station. They're two different places, or at least were when I was there. But, that's like 15 years ago now. But yeah, we did a lot of work with we did a lot of medical work with the base. Michael says a friend had a cobra in his dresser drawer in Bowl. Really? That's scary as shit, to be reaching in the drawer for your boxers and pull out a cobra. I would not like that at all. That would not be fun. No way, no how. Can't agree with it. Sorry. So what else can we talk about? Questions, thoughts, comments, observations. What's been going on? Yeah, Andrew, Michael, that would suck. It really would. So, but if we don't have any other topics to discuss, I'm going to say thank you to everybody. I'll wait a couple more minutes and see if anything else comes up. All right. But I want to tell you how much we do appreciate everybody dropping in on our live stream. Refreshing, it is not a budget chat. Yeah, I don't do budget chats. I really don't. I've done budget videos, and I don't like doing them, only because everybody's budget is individual. And for the most part, quite honestly, I'm not sure their budget video is really a budget. It's more of an expense video. Most of these people do, but they call it a budget video. But okay, whatever works for them. AJ says he's heading out to feed the dogs, and the internet connection's getting jumpy. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for the conversation. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a great, safe day. Take care.